a motion to pay resolution bills?
We had the motion, I just have to amend it now.
Case Ellis.
That's that mediator.
Mediator.
That's the mediator for the. See, Jack has a mediator in his court
We
case.
did the same thing.
Jack did the same
A lot
thing.
more money.
Well, yours is $11.55
Right.
for the mediator, and you're paying half of that, $11.55, and the defendant's share is $11.55, which is the it is not on the motion. And then what's this one for 2045? What's that? Is that the total of the two? No.
That's a regular.
That's everything.
That's
That's bad.
This is the mediator. This is what?
That's the regular one.
This is home.
That's
So
bad.
Cohen charged $2,000, and these people charge another $2,000, so it's about $4,300. To pay how many bills weren't paid? She should have just paid. It would have been cheaper.
Yeah, the $4,000 cheaper.
$4,000.
Whatever the two.
Oh, no, there's more than that. Okay.
No, there's more, it's more money than that. It's up to everything.
It's up to $42,000.
She doesn't pay $42,000 for
No,
bills.
it's only tax out.
Huh?
Yeah.
Oh. All this stuff is just stupid waste of time, right? You're going to pay it anyway.
All right, I'm gonna go back to your,
Okay.
I got a question for Jack on his next bill.
I mean, I have one for you for show records, please.
Here, take mine.
Here.
It is garbage.
What is your question for Jack?
Okay, Jack, pertaining to the next bill, okay, that was not paid yet, are you at risk of losing your service? Thank you.
So far, we've done all right. It's like,
Right, you have too much to pay, so.
All right, just want to make sure.
Okay, I'm ready to amend this motion. Okay, I'm amending the motion to pay down. Okay, I'm amending the motion to pay the road district bills with these exceptions. We need to add Blue Tarp Financial for the 89707. 877, I forgot to put it, 87707. The ComEd bill for streetlights needs to be done as a separate vendor because there's two different addresses that go to. Now,
Wait, what did you just say, Barbara?
the ComEd bill, you got utilities and streetlights, they should be separate vendors. Just make sure that they go to two different places. That's what they were just saying. Okay.
It's normal. No, it's there's two different vendors.
Right, just to make sure.
Common street lights, Grafton street light needs to be on different vendors.
Okay. Now, according to the road commissioner, he is not approving under Grafton Township Town Fund $448.80 or the $2,000. And he's also saying no to Catchmark for $535, no to the Bank of New York Mellon for $270,000.
Okay, so we have 1, 2, 3, 4.
I'll second that.
4 bills, 4 vendors that are to be paid, right?
According to
Oh,
Jim, 1, 2,
okay,
3,
so,
4. Right.
hang on a minute,
What?
hang on a minute. It's, where's that?
What are you looking for?
That one page?
Oh, I have that. Here, this, here, this, is this what?
Yeah, this right here. This right here.
Oh,
These have to
excuse
be
me.
included.
Pardon me.
Here, here's a stamp.
I forgot about this.
So it's the 4 in the bottom that we have to approve as well.
So we're approving,
No, because it's incorrect mark.
Right.
So
he's not approving that, correct, Jack, the QuickBooks? QuickBooks for $49 is not approved.
are you saying not approved or
Yes,
approved?
Jack said not approved, he's not approving that.
Not approved.
But we are approving the Menards and the USPS. That all have your,
Is there a second to the motion?
Second.
Roll call vote?
Trustee Murphy?
yes.
Trustee Porter?
Yeah.
Trustee Zerk?
Yes.
Trustee McMahon? Supervisor Moore?
No. 4-1, motion carries.
Here's another good one, Jack.
Sorry. Okay, approval of the minutes. Is there a motion to approve the November minutes?
I'm gonna make that motion to approve the minutes.
Would that be November and December or just November?
November and December.
Sure.
And I'll second that.
Okay, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay.
I'd
Motion
like to
carries.
know, I'd like to know if I can give my report this time.
Sure. All right, to modify the agenda? Yeah, all right. Make a motion to modify the agenda to let the assessor go next because he's got something he's got to get to. I apologize for not doing this earlier.
You're moving item 9D
Moving 9D
to
the,
the before public comments.
correct.
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
First, we got our new copy machine, because the other one was really ready to go.
Right.
The guy was there twice during our protest season, fixed it, and he again warned us that parts are not available for the old one. So, we want to put, I hope nobody looks at this, we want to put the other one up for sale, at the annual meeting. That should be one of the items.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh.
So we get rid of it there. Second, it's really nice, it works real good with my next thing. We did join CoStar, and it's already paid for itself. We had a restaurant that's protesting, and we were able to call up comparables, and we were within $1 per square foot of what these other comparables were selling for. So we will present that case at the hearing.
Great.
If you remember the last time, a while ago, when we did have an appraisal, the overall appraisal cost $7,000. It was a combination of the courthouse and myself that paid for it, but we're going to save that money. It'll cost us $3,600 a year, as long as we've already saved just on one building alone. And when you print documents, we now have our computers hooked up to this copy machine, and it will print from it. So it gives us nice color pictures of the comparables and so on. So we're really happy with it. We are leasing it. That's going to be in the next set of bills. The other thing is, I did find a company called InSync, if you saw it in that list. They were able to come in, they knew the CoStar system. I got this on a tip from Comcast, and they were able to hook up all our lines. So now that we have all our lines hooked up, in sequence, we're going to see whether we need all of them. I've already talked to Comcast about dropping one of the lines in the next month if we don't need it, so that's going to cut it down further, because we were able to take what we call the deadline and move it into the system line. So that works really good. And I'd like to thank the supervisor very much for getting our W-2 forms out on time this year rather than late as last year. However, mine is again wrong, and I'm assuming I'm not going to get it corrected because I never got it corrected one last year. And perhaps you should have taken, rather than taking classes to become an assessor, you should have taken classes for a supervisor so you know how to do my W-2.
Mr. Alfie, I think you were incorrect
right. For 20 years, I was given a correct W-2 by the other supervisor. The last 4 years, I have order form 4852, fill it out myself.
The state sends in a W-2 for you for your stipend, your $3,000
Right,
stipend.
and they tell you that you're supposed to add on W-2 because they say they are not my employer. So on the W-2 you give me, you are supposed to report the income tax and IMRF and the Medicare on my statement, and then I turn it in so that the totality of the two is my income.
If you wanted to have a discussion about this, I would appreciate some notice so I could bring that letter and
I
show it to
gave
you.
it to you last year and nothing happened. So
I
They have a
handed
form,
you-
they have a
I
form.
gave you the letter from the state and you had no
I would like to
response.
see it, I would like to see it.
Did you get a copy of that letter?
You certainly did, I handed it to him.
No recollection. I mean, she may have, but I don't have it. I know that for 20 years I know how it works. We haven't cheated at it, but it's okay because I've talked to the IRS and I fill out 4852 and it's fine. And the other thing is, this gentleman that told you to put reimbursements on our check, he's never told me that. I've all been asking him several questions.
Which gentleman are you referring to?
The one you gave it then, the name you gave it, I only have.
The guy from the IRS.
The guy from the IRS, I think he might have been Johnson. But he never told me that because I have a question that someone told me I should ask him in regards to when people leave at 5 o'clock in the morning and don't get home at 6 o'clock at night, because of the length of time, someone told me, and I don't know if it's true or false, and I wanted to ask him that they are entitled to a meal.
If you email me your question, I'll forward it to him.
Well, I'd like to talk to him myself. She
Sure,
said
you
he's
have a right to do that, it's a public figure. By the way, bring it here to the board meeting. That's the proper place to bring it because you're not getting proper service from the supervisor.
I thought it was from the IRS.
No,
No, the questions you have regarding your W-2,
okay.
they probably belong before all of us because we should be covering all these misinformation.
Gerald Levanti?
Yours okay?
That's fine, sir.
My name is Gerald Labonte, and I'm an elected representative for 181 homes in the neighborhood 12 section of Sun City. In the 12 years prior to October 27th of 2012, our neighborhood held 21 food drives to benefit the Grafton Food Pantry, both as a 501c3 charity, as it is now, and before that, when it operated as part of Grafton Township. In the last several years, our neighborhood has raised over $2,000 each year to support this organization, which provides help to almost 7,000 of the neediest township's residents every year. On October 27th of last year, we held our 22nd food drive and collected six large boxes of food and plus a number of checks totaling $1,080 to donate to the Grafton Food Pantry. I have copies of several of those canceled checks with me tonight, totaling $615 of the $1,080 we raised. Not a single one of all those checks had the word township written on it. Unfortunately, our resident who volunteered to deliver our donations was was unaware of local history, in evidence tonight too, and didn't know there were 2 food pantries in Grafton Township. As a result, on Monday, October 29th, the donations were given by mistake to the wrong food pantry, to the Grafton Township food pantry. I became aware of this error the following Saturday afternoon, November 3rd, when I received a note from the township supervisor thanking me for my individual contribution. Other residents received the same letter. I immediately called the township offices to alert the supervisor of our mistaken delivery, but the offices were closed on Saturday afternoon, so I left a message. On Monday, November 5th, I made the supervisor aware of our error and asked that our donations be returned so that they could be given to the intended recipient, the recipient whose name was on each and every donated check. A summary of the supervisor's response was that the checks were already cashed, that the money would not be returned, and that the monies would still be benefiting needy families in the township. Because its own website states that checks meant for its food pantry should be made payable to Grafton Township, I, along with many of my neighbors, wasn't able to understand how the township could cash these checks made out to Grafton Food Pantry. Surely the supervisor is fully aware of the existence of that other food pantry, the one that does not have the word township in its name. One important reason, although there are several others, our neighborhood wants its support to go to the Grafton Food Pantry is that as a charity, they are able to deal with the Northern Illinois Food Bank. The township's food pantry, as a governmental entity, cannot. As a result, every dollar we donate to the Grafton Food Pantry not only is tax deductible, but has $4 in purchasing power. Suddenly, our $1,080 is worth well over $4,000. An important reason, don't you agree? We want our donations to help not just some needy families, but as many needy families as possible. So I'm here to ask that the money residents of Neighborhood 12 wanted to donate to the Grafton Food Pantry will finally end up with the Grafton Food Pantry and not with Grafton Township. Even if the checks were cashed in good faith, and even though it was our error that precipitated this situation, we feel we alerted the township in a timely manner, in a time that the problem could have been solved easily. It still can be. In my own life, if I receive money by mistake, would I have an ethical responsibility to return that money if alerted to the error? I know my code of ethics would make that decision an easy one. And I believe most individuals would make the same easy decision. Should we not expect the same code of ethics from a governmental agency whose purpose is to represent its citizens, to take an innocent mistake of its constituents and use that in a legalistic way to enrich its own coffers is not the ethical decision worthy of a supervisor who has been elected to serve the best interests of her township's citizens. The best interests of the residents of Sun City's Neighborhood 12 have not been served. Indeed, they have been subverted. I trust you will give your constituents' petition respectful consideration, and in the end, do the right thing by returning our money that you now know full well was never intended for you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Sir, I want to reply and select, you are 100% correct, and I will vote, if you give us the document, this document copy, I will vote next meeting to return the money to you as it should be returned, and it should have been never accepted. That other food pantry was never an official food pantry by us, our trustees here. It's just like a derivative of, I think, the public aid, what do you call it? General assistance. So she just does it on a supervisor's thing. She creates a food pantry out of general assistance, but it was never passed by the trustees in any way, shape, or form, and we don't control the other thing. That's a separate entity. So we got out of it. You know,
Yes,
so we want to return this money to you because I would feel exactly like you. And I live in Sun City, by the way. And I feel terrible about it, I'm sorry. I think maybe my other trustees would like to address these things. Would you, Brad?
Yeah, I think we all agree with what Jerry just said, and so we include it on the agenda for next month. Neela, be kind enough
To return that amount of money
right
back to you.
right, either to give us a copy that you have, or give us a copy to Harriet, our clerk.
It has to be on an agenda for us to take any action.
Right.
It'd simply be like a bill, like we owe you a bill, you know, just like any other bill.
If we have it on an agenda, I didn't take any action on it, so.
Does the payment go back to one individual, or is there a specific group? Sir, quick question.
Can we, if we do this, does the money, do you want this to go back to a specific person or
How do you want it?
each individual?
Our neighbor is the treasurer.
Okay, so
And he could make one check out for $615, and I saw that I brought.
Right,
And then
Association, Sun City Association 12,
the
treasurer.
treasurer, correct.
Sun City,
And she would take care of it. She would take care of it.
you want to do that? You want to take care of it next month? If you come to the meeting next month, we will make sure we try to get some work done on it next month.
Okay, next public comment, Dan Ziller. Dan Ziller.
I'll wait till further into the meeting here on my comments.
We're gonna have to do public comments now, though.
Well, I was gonna ask you about what we discussed later on. Okay?
Can I have a motion by the board to, allow Mr. Ziller to do public comments, later on in the agenda?
sure, no problem.
Sure. Okay. Is it a problem?
Whenever you want to do it.
Motion to, move public comments from Mr. Ziller to a later time in the agenda, subject to his liking. Is there a second?
I'll second that.
All in favor, say aye. Motion carries. Next is Maureen Garcia.
I've been to about 4 or 5 meetings. It's a shame some of these meetings. Make the taxpayers listen to all this crap. Why can't you people meet ahead of time, settle your differences, so we can carry on decently?
Can't. It's against the law.
I've gone to association for the state, township of Illinois, and some of those people, the trustees, get up at those meetings and they conclude their meetings in about 15 minutes. When I ran for the job position, that's what I assumed would happen. It only became an $800,000 issue because of the mistake that people make at voting when they vote for people they don't even know who they're voting for. And they get a kind of a person that just takes over and becomes like a,
Well, fine.
Chavez.
Yeah, but you ought to be able to do something.
How can four people will tell her to pay a bill,
You know,
and she will not pay the bill. She will not pay the bill. Four
Well,
people.
this should be handled, you shouldn't have
This is-
taxpayer up here doing, we have business to discuss.
This is America. This is America. And in America, I think in America, that when you have a board of 5 people, 4 people vote one way, that should carry, not one person as a dictator.
You know what?
This is very embarrassing.
I understand what you're saying, and I agree.
Make sure you don't make a mistake at the polls.
You cannot meet beforehand because it's against the Open Meetings Act. There's a quorum. If 3 of us are together and discuss township business and we're not in an open meeting like this, that's against the Open Meetings Act. They tie your hands. You can't settle anything beforehand. So,
Well, Barbara,
I do agree with what you're saying, and I understand.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah. It's hard.
Barbara's right in one respect, but like if you take For instance, a village board meeting, they do have preliminary board meetings, workshops, and they discuss everything in workshops. And then from a workshop, it goes to a formal, like a yes vote. So everything on your menu or your agenda is yes, 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 because you've already done it in workshop, and you scare the public. But we don't do that here, because this is different. This is a whole different thing.
Our laws are.
And this only costs the taxpayers $800,000.
Still there.
So remember that, $800,000. And your taxes are preordained. So when you get a phone call, a robo-phone call, and it says your taxes will go up, that's not true. Because your taxes can never go up.
It's the point, we don't know who the hell's telling the
But
truth.
that I'm telling you right here in a public meeting, that robocalls are to scare people. It's to scare you, to vote for the wrong person.
If you have any questions, you want to talk afterwards, I'm more than happy
It's
to.
against the law, so.
Well,
I can talk
no.
to them.
The one person is just that
It's
the
okay.
group of us can't talk at the same time.
We have a provision to answer the audience automatically, because a lot of times what happens is they fire at us, and then they walk out the door, so you never get a chance to talk to
I
them.
walked out the last meeting.
Well, that's what
Yeah,
happens.
I remember.
I'm almost
That's what
ready
happens.
to walk out of
I
this
remember you
meeting.
did last time.
Yes.
Okay. Discussion and action on the discussion and action on the forensic audit, regular audits. Is there a motion?
We have put it on in case there are any updates. Just wanted to give the public an update on this, is that I'm making a motion to discuss
Second.
this line item. We had attempted regular audits, and there's a long story behind it, but the audits were, the second year audit was never completed. It was completed in draft form, then changed 6 months after. Those auditors refused to answer any questions. And so after, trying to get some advice from the outside, other auditors, letting them know the background behind this, they highly recommended that the forensic audit be done. Last meeting, we approved the forensic audit to be done. She refused to pay for it, so it was brought to court in order to get payment for it. And her attorney has moved. We brought it to court, and her attorney wanted it dismissed and moved out to mid-February for the next court date, so it's still not settled. And just to let you know, I've contacted other auditing firms, let them know the background that's taken place, and nobody will do a regular audit. The ones that I talked to will not, and these firms are both, they're smaller local firms as well as larger regional firms. And when they did the research on Grafton, they refused to do the audit, a regular audit, until after the forensic audit is done. And so that's, that's where we stand on that.
I want to give you an update. I was at the court session yesterday morning, and a month earlier, we were in court, and our supervisor's attorney asked for a dismissal. So in the court session yesterday, that was denied, and now we're going back to court again on February 14th. And supposedly, this is going to be like a trial hearing. Hopefully we'll get it accomplished and done.
One of the ways that all these court litigations, all the money that we owe the lawyers for Linda's side, one of the ways that we cannot pay that is if we had a new supervisor, and the new supervisor said, we don't want to continue with the litigations, drop it, and it'd be over that fast. All you'd have to have is a new person as a supervisor who is more sympathetic to paying lawyers, because the people who are getting rich here are the attorneys. The township just loses $800,000 from the net worth. That's how it works. It doesn't affect your taxes, but it's just Instead of having a building and owning a building, you have nothing.
And unfortunately, you know, the times that we are showing up to court, her attorney, almost every single time, comes late to the court session, number one. And number two, requests from the judge